Hello there, Tabletop Baseball Plus subscribers and those who are checking us out for the first time, or maybe you've checked us out quite a bit. This is Tenacious Earl with another shortstop. So this is a short video series that we do just to try and cover maybe one aspect of the tabletop experience. So I wanted to go over what I'm calling hang-ups for tabletoppers today, which this is kind of like more around the mental side of things when it comes to gaming. So these are things that can just really kind of get you down in the process of trying to complete your projects. So the first one I want to talk about is burnout. So many of us get into these long projects and it just kind of like gets very boring at times, maybe the same results. You know, you get these blowouts, you don't get any close ball games. Maybe it just seems like you're in a stretch where it's always it's the 4 and 5 pitchers for every team or something, or who knows what. There's lots of different ways it can happen where you're just feeling like I don't want to go and roll this game. It's not doing it for me. So my first suggestion would be to simply take a break. Nothing wrong with taking a few days to kind of like cleanse the palate, clear your mind. Actually, for cleansing the palate, another great thing to do would be just to grab a different game off your shelf or go buy a game if you're kind of new to this and maybe you got into a project that's going on really long and maybe you bit off more than you can chew. Go buy a different game, maybe a different sport, whatever it is, just something to kind of like get the taste out of your mouth that's leaving you feeling like it's not doing it for you. Nothing wrong with that, and nothing wrong with just taking a break, taking a week. I'll tell you, after a period of time, you are going to get that, that desire again to say, man, I really enjoyed doing that and I want to get back to doing it again. Maybe I'll find out that it is going to turn out differently this time around, and then a lot of times it does. So that's burnout. The second one would be stress. There's lots of different ways we can have stress, but the two that come to mind most of all for me would be work. So let's just say, things are getting really busy at your job. You're kind of like bringing that home. You're working long hours. You come home, you're tired. You're sitting on the couch and you're falling asleep. That kind of stuff. It can also be family. A lot of us get in this situation where we are so into our projects here on the tabletop that our significant others start saying, man, they like that more than they like me. And, they're feeling a little bit, the story of the golf widow. Well, maybe it's like the tabletop widow where they are feeling like they're not getting enough attention. So my suggestions for work would be to make sure that you Actually, I guess a good way to put it would be to keep your priorities straight altogether. For work, make sure that the 40 hours, or maybe you need to put in more at a certain phase of the year, that you're giving your work your undivided attention, and not letting the tabletop, which can happen for us sometimes, to bleed into the work and start to affect your work performance to where, the thing that's putting the food on the table and the lights on and the roof over your head gets jeopardized because of that kind of thing. The other thing would be, and that doesn't necessarily help the stress as far as like if you're working long hours. Sometimes you just got to make work your priority. You will get through this. Eventually you'll get back to the point where you can be rolling again on a more regular basis. And it's the same thing. It's similar with a family. It's just a little different. Like you got to show your wife, your kids, the attention they deserve. It's priorities. If your wife is having these feelings, then maybe you need to take a few days off and plan a getaway or plan a night out on the town, or just sitting there and watching some shows or a movie or two, or just a lot of that will go a long way to making her feel like you're appreciating her, even though we enjoy this as well, and this is a nice outlet. It is just an outlet. We got to make sure that we keep our priorities straight. So the last thing would be pressure. This is another facet hang up. or feeling overwhelmed. Maybe you just want to get this project done, and you're feeling overwhelmed because there's a lot left to do, and or the results aren't coming your way. This is something that has been documented on this channel from me. Things aren't quite going the way you hoped, or they're in jeopardy of that, and you're just feeling really kind of, it's a different kind of stress, but it's just like pressure to perform. So my suggestion for this would be to allow the simulation to inform your view on not only the game itself but sports in general. Like, allow it to say, allow yourself to think that, man, Team X, maybe they wouldn't have won a championship if it hadn't been, maybe they had a lot of things turn out roses for them, and that's the reason they won the championship. Or maybe they won the division because, or maybe they didn't win the division because some things didn't bounce their way, and maybe that's why I'm getting an even better result. Usually we feel better about that, but but maybe you're having trouble getting to five. You picked the team that was 500. You're having trouble getting to that 500 mark. It could have gone either way. It could be a few blown save here. And these games, again, are simulations. They're not perfect. I wish I was able to embrace this back in the project where I really had experienced a lot of this myself. But you just have to kind of like relax and allow this knowledge to just sink in and say, you know what? It's a simulation. It's not perfect. Things aren't going to go exactly the same. And that's about the best way to cope with that, I think. Now, if you have any suggestions on other ways to cope with that, or any of the 3 hangups I've talked about, feel free to leave a comment. If you have other hangups you'd like us to discuss, again, comment and let us know. If you could like the video, if you thought this was helpful, please do hit the thumbs up. We appreciate that. And subscribe if you aren't a subscriber already. Keep rolling until the next time we're here on the tabletop, and we will see you soon. Take it easy.